for joining us. I'm John Oliver. Just time for a quick recap of the week, and we begin in the United Kingdom, America's deadbeat dad. The UK held its election on Thursday, and virtually every poll predicted that Prime Minister David Cameron and his Conservative Party would be unable to win a majority. But in a dramatic twist, it turned out that everyone was wrong.
We are saying the Conservatives are the largest party.
I think there really is quite a lot of shock amongst a lot of people when you think the way the polls went in the run-up to the election.
It's an even more dramatic result than we were predicting. It's an outright win for the Conservatives.
Total shock, really, from where we started in the evening.
Now, to be fair, that is about as emotional as a British newsreader is capable of being. The American equivalent of what you just saw would be Wolf Blitzer stripping naked and setting fire to his own beard. But, in fact, this result was such a surprise that when the exit polls were first announced, the former head of the Liberal Democrats, Lord Paddy Ashdown, didn't quite believe it.
If this exit poll is right, Andrew, I will publicly eat my hat on your programme.
Now, just so you know, that's a little disingenuous because this is his hat. So the context is important, it looks delicious. This election may well fundamentally change the UK forever because the Scottish National Party, who last year came close to winning a referendum on Scottish independence, won almost every seat in Scotland, leading many to speculate about what comes next.
A strong showing by the Scottish National Party, the SNP, could fuel a fresh push for Scottish independence.
Again? We have to beg to keep Scotland again? Don't make me bring out the unicorn, Scotland. I can't do it. We killed it, and we ate it. Not because we were hungry, not because we were curious, we just did it. Now, you might assume that England would take this threat seriously, but if you want the purest distillation of English arrogance when it comes to Scotland's importance, then consider this. A 20-year-old woman had just defeated the shadow Foreign Secretary, and she was talking about the importance of Scotland's voice being heard. And this is how the BBC reacted.
The people of Scotland are speaking, and it is time for their voice to be heard at Westminster.
We'll come back in a moment to Paisley, Renfrewshire South.
Sure, we could hear Scotland's voice, which to my ear sounds a bit like a pot-bellied pig running a triathlon. Or we could listen to literally anything else. Besides, rumour has it a dusty old man is about to come on television and eat a hat, so that's unmissable. So let's move on. Let's move on to the world of boxing. Last Saturday, millions of people watched an unrepentant domestic abuser named Floyd repeatedly hit a Filipino congressman in the face. It turned out many people were disappointed with the fight, including one notable world leader, Hun Sen, the Prime Minister of Cambodia. Apparently, he's a massive Manny Pacquiao fan, and he was pissed.
Let me talk about protesting with the referee who judged the World Boxing Championship match yesterday. I can't believe the American judges are that poor. Really very poor.
That was not a one-off comment. He devoted about 15 minutes of a speech exclusively to the outcome of the fight. Bear in mind, the Gettysburg Address was 3 minutes long and had little to no references to boxing in it. And if you're wondering why the Cambodia Prime Minister cares so much, well, it turns out he had a $5,000 bet on Pacquiao. And he wanted to make it clear that he was not going to pay.
Hey, the $5,000 you won is not finalized yet. It is not yet settled, so I'm not going to pay yet. I'm not paying yet because I need to find justice first.
No, that's not how gambling works. You can't retroactively void your bet because you didn't agree with the outcome. Even the people who bet against the Patriots aren't demanding their money back, and that team was essentially tossing around a floppy leather handbag. And it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult to hear Hun Sen lecture anyone about fair play for two reasons. First, this is a man who Human Rights Watch says has repeatedly used political violence, repression and corruption to remain in power. And secondly, if we're really talking fairness, let me point out that this was him trotting out onto the field to take part in a not-at-all staged soccer match in which all his opponents tried desperately hard to get him to score a goal, and it wasn't easy. After that display, you do not get to comment about officiating, fairness, or anything having to do with sport ever again. You owe your people and that ball an apology. But finally this week, Russia, where despite appearances of the contrary, the cathedrals are not edible. It was the 70th anniversary of VE Day this week, when Allied forces formally defeated the Nazis, and Russia went all out to mark the occasion.
Russia's biggest ever Victory Day parades to mark 70 years since the Nazi surrender. 16,000 servicemen, nearly 200 units of hardware, 140 helicopters and planes.
Cameras had been placed in every conceivable location, embedded in the road, and on board some of the aircraft taking part in a flypast.
Yes, and we don't just have cameras there. We also have cameras on the horsefoot. And even inside Putin's mouth. Many cameras for you to enjoy. Many cameras. But as triumphant as the parade was, you couldn't help feeling like there was something missing.
Today's parade was attended by some 20 world leaders. But President Vladimir Putin had invited more than 70. Most Western leaders stayed away in protest over Russia's actions in Ukraine.
Ouch. Less than a third of invitees showed up, and it actually got even sadder when you look at Putin's outgoing texts halfway through the parade, including "where you at," "you on your way," and more of a gathering than a party, but you should def swing by. I mean, that's heartbreaking, or it would be if Putin's heart was not a potato filled with battery acid. But in fact, with so many Western leaders not turning up, the parade attendees amounted to a who's who of who Putin hasn't pissed off.
Chinese President Xi Jinping was the most prominent visitor. Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, another willing guest.
OK, well, getting the Chinese president is pretty good, but no one in the course of human history has ever said, well, at least Mugabe came. To be fair, there was actually an American presence there in the form of Steven Seagal. And I would say it's the last place that you'd expect to see Steven Seagal, but that wouldn't be true because that place, of course, is a movie set. I'm just saying, he's the only action star who was literally too expendable for the Expendables. But despite all this spectacle, this parade was not actually the most awe-inspiring thing that Russia did to commemorate VE Day, because there was another military tribute in Russia this week that was simply breathtaking.
This is the way Laska and her friend Winnie the Pooh salute their superiors, as now they are not just SEALs, but Baikal Special Forces, waking up early, physical training, and of course, shooting practice.
How was that not part of the parade in Red Square? In fact, how was that not the only thing there? There is frankly nothing that projects a country's greatness like two heavily armed SEALs in berets. Bravo, Russia! Bravo! And now, this.
And now, the continuing adventures of the most patient man on television.
Michael from just outside of Baltimore in Owings Mills, good morning. Michael, you with us?
Fuck.
Okay, we'll move on to Al. We apologize when callers get through, and that kind of language is unacceptable. Thanks for waiting. Good morning with Dane Egley.
Hey, Dane Egley. I just wanted to know, how big is your penis?
Okay, I apologize for that call. Rocky is on the phone. Good morning.
Hi, hello, am I on?
You sure are? Go ahead.
Awesome. I just want to talk about how I think that Russian cock, big cock.
Okay. Let's go to Laura.
I think the CEO of Bank of America should be Howard Stern and Baba Booey.
Okay, we'll stop you there.
They didn't give a shit.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there.
Homosexual clubs. You know, like he was a guy who just loved to have a dildo lubed up and shoved.
Okay, we're going to stop you at that point.
But people are saying that he lost the game on TV and also my balls.
We'll go to Tom next.
Moving on. Our main story tonight is Mother's Day. It's the day we honour moms, as opposed to every other day when we look at our phones and go, yeah, not now. Mother's Day is not just an opportunity to do something for your mom, it's an opportunity for businesses to be the thing that you do for them.
JCPenney believes mom deserves to get everything she wants. The JCPenney Mother's Day sale.
Baskin-Robbins Mother's Day cake.
Pick one up today.
For Mother's Day, personalize your M&Ms on mymms.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Right this way. Moms rock. Bring yours to Hooters on Mother's Day and she'll eat free.
Perfect. What better way to honour the woman who gave you life than taking her to Hooters? Mom, I just want to thank you for making me the man I am today. A man who takes his mother to a Hooters on Mother's Day. By the way, I don't have to pay for you, so order me some wings. Even America's national pastime wants to publicly acknowledge mothers.
Hey Mets fans, come spend Mother's Day at Citi Field on Sunday, May 11th. Every mom in attendance is going to receive this Mets t-shirt.
On Sunday, May 11th, make sure your mom receives this Dodgers Mother's Day clutch.
Celebrate Mother's Day with the home team. The first 10,000 women get a raised flower pot.
It's the perfect gift for the mom who enjoys the 3 Bs: baseball, botany, and being disappointed with her Mother's Day gift. In America, there is nothing we wouldn't do for moms, apart from one major thing.
According to the United Nations, we and Papua New Guinea are the only countries in the world that do not provide any paid time off for new mothers.
Just us and Papua New Guinea. That's as unlikely a pairing as Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon. Separately, great. But if it's just the two of them with no one else, it makes you feel like one of them has taken her eye off the ball. Reese. In the US, here in the US, federal law grants workers just 12 weeks of unpaid leave, and there are some stark limits on that.
You have to work for a company with 50 or more employees, you have to have been there for over a year, you have to be a full-time salaried employee, so if you're a freelance or contract or something like that, it doesn't apply to you.
And what that means is that 40% of workers are not covered by the federal law. So if a worker with no paid leave goes into labour at work, she better hope it's on her lunch hour and that her co-workers don't mind if the break room gets a bit messy. And this is not to say that women don't take leave. They just have to get very creative about doing it.
What we have right now, women do take maternity leave. It is oftentimes unpaid, and it is through a patchwork system where they use up their vacation time, they use up their sick days. One woman I talked to put her maternity leave essentially on her credit cards.
Now, sure, that sounds bad, but on the plus side, think of all the points she earned towards vacation she can't now take because she has a fucking baby. This is not how it's supposed to work. Mothers shouldn't have to stitch together time to recover from childbirth the same way that we plan 4-day weekends in Atlantic City. Oh, I'll take a vacation day Thursday, call out sick Friday, hit the slot Saturday, win big Sunday, and I'll never go back, baby! Woo! And look, there are women who want to get back to work as soon as they can, and that's obviously fine. But for many women, the current situation forces them to return well before they want to, like this new mother.
Right now, I'm using the family medical leave for my time. It's not paid, and it'll guarantee me my position back only for 12 weeks. I see myself probably maybe like a month. I don't see myself taking longer than that. I don't know how I could take longer than that. So probably like a month.
That is a woman who deserves real gratitude in the form of a Tampa Bay Rays flower pot, just to help her and the baby. And that's if your pregnancy goes according to plan. If a baby's born prematurely, parents can be forced to make some truly heart-wrenching choices, like Selena Allen, whose baby was 6 weeks premature and who knew that she could only afford to take 4 weeks off in total.
We decided the best thing we could do is to spend the 1 month with Connor when he's home with us. I gave birth on Wednesday, and on Monday, I went back to work. It was like a piece of me got left in that hospital, and now I had to pretend that I'm okay.
Okay, that's terrible, although I will say you have definitely got everyone's bullshit what I did over the weekend story beat. Oh, really, Carol? Skydiving? That's interesting. I dropped a baby from my innards and I was forced to leave it right there in the hospital for financial reasons, but go ahead, tell me what you had for brunch the next day. You had waffles? You're incredible, Carol. That's a great fucking story. And look, I don't mean to suggest that this is an issue that only mothers should have to think about. Family leave should be thought of as an option for both parents, which will take some cultural adjustment. Look at Major League Baseball, which offers all of 3 days off to players who become fathers. But when one of them, the Mets' Daniel Murphy, actually took it, this happened.
This week, sports radio skewered him for missing the first 2 games of the season for his son's birth.
You get your back to your team when you play baseball. That's my take on it. There's nothing you can do anyway. You're not breastfeeding the kid.
I was at C-section before the season starts. I need to be at opening day.
Oh, good luck selling that to your wife. Listen, babe, I know I play 162 games in a season, but I can't miss a single one, so let's cut that thing out of your belly so I can wear my baggy pajamas and swing a cone of wood to make a ball go far. So why do we have this system in the United States? Well, for a start, employers tend to fear any sort of mandate. But when it comes to family leave, any fears do tend to be overblown. Look at the way that lawmakers discussed our current 12 weeks of unpaid leave system back when it was proposed in 1993.
I want to make sure that all of you who will vote for this have no illusions. This bill will cost jobs.
Today, America's businesses are already saddled with too many suffocating regulatory burdens.
Now is not the time to shove restrictive federal mandates down the throats of American businesses and American families.
This bill is unfair, anti-business, anti-growth, invasive, deathly expensive.
I say this to the House, if we allow new mothers to take time off work, businesses shall crumble, our cities shall burn, and hungry wolves shall roam our streets. I'm not anti-mom, I'm anti-wolf. That's all I'm saying. No to wolves! No to the wolves! Think about the wolves! Now, that bill obviously passed, and a 2012 survey found few work sites reported negative effects of complying with the law. So we thought the bill would kill us, but instead we just got used to having it around, like an irregular mole or a new stepdad. I don't know why I was so afraid of you, Gene. You were fine. Now, some people might argue, but that was unpaid leave. Paid leave is too onerous. But is it? Because back in 2002, California passed a plan providing 6 weeks of partially paid leave funded through a small payroll tax. Essentially, it was an insurance plan that would cost employers little to nothing. But all the same fear-mongering took place, and in the end, this happened.
More than 90% of the companies there reported either positive or, at worst, neutral effects.
Businesses seem to just make it work, and the polling data we have when we survey them, most of them say it's just not a big deal.
Yeah, it seems paid maternity is a bit like having hockey on in the background at a bar. It's not hurting anyone, and a couple of people are actually really into it. So look, in California, it worked, and yet only 2 other states have followed their lead. And that may be because any legislation that specifically seeks to support women often faces vocal opposition. In fact, Minnesota recently debated a bill which expanded unpaid maternity leave and provided other workplace protections for women, which seemed like a slam dunk. After all, lawmakers love their mothers in Minnesota. Just look at these videos they made.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Whether it's one day or all year round, frankly, we should be thanking our moms.
Happy Mother's Day to all mothers in Minnesota, and thank you.
Do I talk about my mom or the mother of my children? I love them both.
She always said there's 2 sides to every story. You need to know them both before you can be wise enough to know what to do.
OK, just pump the brakes a bit, because moms are like feet. The more you talk about them in public, the more everyone assumes you want to have sex with them. So just don't. Still, it is, don't think too much about that. It is interesting that Representative Dan Hall's mother taught him that there's 2 sides to every story, because you might like to know that he and every other lawmaker you just saw voted against that bill. And you can't have it both ways. You can't go on and on about how much you love mothers and then fail to support legislation that makes life easier for them. In fact, until we, as a country, do something to address this should be the only message that we're allowed to send on Mother's Day.
Mothers. We owe everything to them. They gave birth to us. They nurtured us. They made us who we are. And this Mother's Day, we have just one thing to say to all the mothers out there. Get the fuck back to work. Seriously, get back to work now. Because unless you can personally afford to take the time off you want, we're gonna need you to get your exhausted ass back to work and show us that can-do attitude that moms are famous for. We do anything for our moms. Up to, but not including, paying them to stay home for a while after pushing a human being out of their body. But we do want to say thank you. And what better way to thank us for thanking you than maybe turning up on time once in a while? We appreciate you, moms. That's why we're happy to allow you to bring that weird donut cushion to work, just so long as you promise not to tell us what it's for. And if you need to find a place to pump breast milk, well, no problem. Either use the break room, or even better, why not get some fresh air? You'll be more comfortable out there. It'll be like a picnic. And moms, you love picnics. The important thing is that you come back to work when you're ready, or when you're not ready, or even when your placenta is still technically inside you. Oopsie, clean up on aisle 7. Look at you, Supermom, taking care of everyone. Because remember, not only can you balance work and family, you have to. And that's why this Mother's Day, we know you'll be grateful, moms, because you understand that even though 183 other countries do more for you, we do as much as we feel we can right now. What we're saying is, you deserve the very best, moms. You're just not gonna get it. Happy Mother's Day.
And finally tonight, let's talk about Japan, a nation so vibrant, not even Sofia Coppola and the band Air could make it boring. Japan, like every country, has struggled to engage its people with government programs and services. That's why they've come up with a quintessentially Japanese solution, mascots.
These are mascot characters created for local districts throughout Japan to promote the areas. Apparently, there are now over 1,500 such mascots.
1,500 mascots. So if you're in Japan and you throw a rock, you'll probably hit one. And you'll know it when it happens because you'll probably hear an adorable squeaking sound. And it's not just local districts, tourism boards. There are official mascots for everything. Some cities have dozens of mascots. This is Noru-Run, mascot for a train line. And this is Katakuri-chan, the mascot for a notorious Japanese prison. That's right. Their prisons have mascots. And you've got to admit, The Shawshank Redemption would be a very different movie if every now and then that thing was walking around in the background. That's a different film. That's a very different film. And the thing is, mascots can be big business. Just look at Kumamon, one area's lovable bear mascot. He has brought in an estimated $1.2 billion over 2 years. And if you're wondering why, take a look at this.
Kumamon, 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 Kumamoto ga suki, Kumamon, Mon.
That's it. I am done interacting with humans now. If you ever want to talk to me, wear a Kumamon outfit or get the fuck out. And the thing is, he's not even the most popular. That title goes to Funashi, a giant genderless pear representing the city of Funabashi. And not only does Funashi hold press conferences, he does some pretty incredible TV appearances. Let me show you just one. I don't know why anyone is still watching this show or any other show, now that they know that that video exists somewhere. Mascots have become such a feature of political life in Japan that foreign embassies are even being compelled to play along.
The Israeli embassy in Japan has unveiled its new mascot to the public, a parrot holding an olive branch named Shalom Chan.
I believe some Japanese will see Israel like this character.
Look, people see Israel a lot of different ways, but I don't think there is anyone on Earth that sees it as that character. But that just proves the power mascots have to reach out and engage people, although not all are instantaneously lovable. For example, the prefecture of Nara is represented by Sento-kun, a shirtless boy creature with antlers on his head, who looks like the result of Andre Agassi fucking a reindeer. Or There's the objectively terrifying Melon Kumar, an angry bear with a melon for a head who represents Ubari. Now, let's watch a local school visit going exactly how you'd imagine it would. What did they think was going to happen? It's got bloody teeth and a melon for a head. The problem is, the sheer scale of publicly funded mascots has become a problem. Last year, the Japanese Finance Ministry tried to crack down on them, describing some as a waste of public funds, which is ridiculous. Because not only should Japan not be cutting back, we in America should be creating our own mascots to engage people with government agencies. In fact, I'll do some for you right now. If you want the embodiment of justice, forget about that boring blindfolded lady. Let me introduce you to Scales, the blind iguana. You need someone to make immigration and customs enforcement a bit friendlier? Well, meet Hamilton the pig in a sailor hat. Look out, he's coming to deport you. And, you know, for the Department of Health and Human Services, you could have, I don't know, a creepy baby doll with Hulk hands wearing a tutu. To be fair, that is no weirder than most Japanese mascots, and it's just as memorable. And look, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, John, this is all very well, but the Japanese put their money where their mouth is, and they make these mascots. Well, let me ask you this. Have we ever let you down before? We have made mascots for 11 government agencies. Would you like to meet them all? I can't hear you. Would you like to meet them all? Let's do this. Dim the lights. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2015 government agencies. From the Department of Justice, Scales, the blind iguana. From Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Hamilton the pig. And of course, from the HHS, creepy baby with Hulk hands in a tutu. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started. From the Department of Transportation, please welcome Stunk, the steampunk skunk. She loves trains. And from the National Security Agency, it's Hoots, the NSA owl. He just wants to know who you've been talking to. From the TSA, it's Spike the hedgehog, who collects 4-ounce bottles of shampoo and Swiss Army knives. Spike, did you need to take all those? I can't stay mad at you, Spike. And next, from your Department of Energy, Ram Jam, the dancing ram. He's got so much energy, he never stops dancing. How's it going there, Ram Jam? How's it going? Of course it's going well. He loves it. And don't think we've forgotten about the Department of Agriculture or NASA. We've got a soybean and a space gecko just for them. Plus, representing the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, here is acclaimed character actor Bob Banaban. And finally, he's actually here. And finally, from the Department of the Treasury, please say hi to Cornelius, the Illuminati pyramid. It has an eyeball at the top of it. So that's it. This is your 2015 government agencies. Look at them dance. Look at them dance, America. You cannot be apathetic about what you're looking at here. If you don't feel the importance of government agencies right now, I just don't think I can help you. That's our show. Good night. Join us next week. Farewell.
Let's rock.